गुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगनो रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेव श्री राधा कृष्णपदा सहगनो ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय राधिकाय प्रियात्मने श्रीमद् भक्तिवेदान्त नारायणति नामिने श्रीकृष्णलीला कथाने सुदाक्ष औदार्यमाधुर्यगुणैश्च युक्तं वरं वरेण्यं पुरुषं महन्तं नारायणं त्वां शिरसा नमामि। त्रिदन्दिनं भक्तशिरोमणिं च श्रीकृष्णपादाब्जनितैकहृदि चैतन्यलीलामृतसारसार नारायणं त्वां सततं प्रपद्ये। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। नमो विष्णुपादाय गौरप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमद् भक्तिप्रज्ञानं केशव इति नामिने। अतिमर्त्यचरित्राय स्वश्रितानर्चपालिने जीवदुःखे सदर्ताय श्रीनाम प्रेमदायिने। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिसिद्धान्त सरस्वतीति नामिने। श्रीवर्षभानवी देवी दयिताय कृपाब्धये कृष्णसम्बन्धविज्ञानोदयिने प्रभवे नमः। माधुर्योज्ज्वलप्रेमभ्य श्रीरूपानुगभक्तिदा श्रीगौरकरुणाशक्ति विग्रहाय नमोस्तुते। नमस्ते गौरवाणि श्रीमूर्तये दिनतारिणे रूपानुगविरुद्धाः सिद्धान्तध्वन्तहारिणे। नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षात् वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्भारसम्बोधे पदम्बुजयते नमः। नमो भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपागमरायते। गौराविर्भावभूमेस्त्वं निर्देष्टा सजनप्रिय वैष्णवः सर्वभौम श्रीजगन्नाथाय ते नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण नम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जयतां सुरतो पङ्गोर्मम मन्दमतेर्गति मत्सर्वस्वपदम्बोजो राधामदनमोहन। दिव्यवृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमाद श्रीमद्रत्नागारसिंहासनस्थो श्री श्रीराधा श्रीलगोविन्ददेवो प्रेष्ठादिभिः सेव्यमानो स्मरामि। श्रीमान्द्रसरसारम्भि वंशीवत ततस्थितः कार्षन्तेनुस्वरैर्गोपि गोपीनाथ श्रीस्तु नः। वृन्दाय तुलसीदेव्यै प्रियायै केशवस्य च कृष्णभक्तिप्रदे देवी सत्यवत्यै नमो नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तात्मतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। कृष्ण कृष्ण प्राप्ति हो जा Thakur Vaisnavapada, Avanira Sutsampada, page 38. Vaisnava Samgite Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Krishna Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Vrindavan Shri Advaita बंधु संगे जदि तब रंग परिहास। 124 बंधु संगे जदि तब रंग परिहास, बंधु संगे जदि तब रंग परिहास, बंधु संगे जदि तब रंग परिहास, हाथे अभिलाष, हाथे अभिलाष, बंधु संगे जदि तब रंग परिहास, बंधु संगे तबे मोर कथा राखो, जेयो नाको जेयो नाको, तबे मोर कथा राखो, मथुराय केशी तीर्थ घाते रस बंधु संगे जदि तब रंग परिहास, गोविंद विग्रह धरि तथाय छेना हरि, गोविंद विग्रह धरि नयने मंकिम दृष्टि, मुखे मन्दभास, जीवा त्रिभंगधार वर्णसोज्ज्वल श्याम, जीवा त्रिभंग किशोरायो शोभा, श्रियंगे प्रभास, बंधु संगे जदि तब रंग परिहास, चूरा के भाई कोरोना
वंदे श्री वृषभानुसुतापद
by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, page 342. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol Srila Gurudev Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Srila Gauri Guruvar Ki Jai Pati Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai Prem Purushottam Sachinandana Gaur Hari Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Gopinath Ki Jai Hari Ram Sankirtan Ki Jai Hare Krishna Mahamantra Ki Jai Gaur Bhaktivedanta Ki Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
My sister in America has coronavirus. I found it.
Almost everyone who has the flu will have coronavirus.
She went to a big feast. Outside New York is very expensive.
But be very gentle with the new microphones.
Only rich people.
Hare Krishna. A little early, no? Yeah. Maharaja would like us to do the family. Karuna.
Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadare Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namah Ajnanatirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Namah Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Nityanamine Namah Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyaeva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Namrayate Girim Yakripātamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinataram. So first of all, I'd like to offer my Dandavat Pranam thousands of times into the lotus feet of our beloved Gurudeva, Nitya Lila Pravishta Visnupada, astottara Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswamipada, and the same unto the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Pravishta Visnupada, astottara shata Shri Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, to all of our Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga, and to all Vaishnavas, past, present, and future, my Dandavat Pranam, and also to all of those who are watching the live stream, my Dandavat Pranam. So we're going to continue with going beyond Vaikuntha, which is a summary study based on the lectures of Srila Gurudev of Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Especially these early books which were made, they really carry the mood, the bhav of Srila Gurudev in such a beautiful way. When I read them, it feels like I'm sitting in front of him and he's speaking to me. So before we begin, especially I just wanted to chant this one prayer, begging for the mercy of Sri Sanatan Goswami, who witnessed these pastimes within his heart and then wrote them down for the benefit of this world, of everyone in this world. So the prayer is composed by Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. Vairaga Juga Bhakti Rasam Prayatna Apayanam Mam Nabhikshamandam Kripambudiya Paradukaduki Sanatanastam Pavamashmayami. He's offering his prayers in the lotus feet of Sri Sanatan Goswami, who gave him, like by force, the nectar laced with renunciation. It means the nectar of Krishna Bhakti Ras, by which he had no attraction to anything in this material world. So he's offering his Dandavat Pranam. Actually, Ashrayami means he's completely surrendering himself at the lotus feet of his Gurudev, Sri Sanatan Goswami. May he be merciful, and may Srila Gurudev, whose bhav anuvad we are reading, may he be merciful on us and allow even a drop of this nectar to penetrate our hearts. So Srila Gurudev was explaining here that Sri Narad Muni, he performed this wonderful pastime of endeavoring to establish the quality or the qualification of a devotee. Some may think that this is actually not very good for us. Why should we see that or distinguish between devotees? Isn't this Vaisnava aparad? But Srila Rupa Goswami has explained in the 5th verse of Sri Upadeshamrita, Krishneti yasya giritam manasadriyeta dikshashti chet pranatibhishcha vajantamisham shushrushraya vajanavignyamananyamanya nindadi shunyam prigamipsita sangalabdya. That we shouldn't treat all Vaishnavas on the same level. In fact, Srila Gurudev explained that if you treat a third-class bogus person, he may be chanting, but maybe he's third-class bogus. If you call him a Mahabhagavat, then you are making it an aparad to the real Mahabhagavat. Does that make sense? For example, if I put any one of you on Gurudev's Vyasasana and started worshipping you the same as Gurudev, not only would that be maybe offensive to Gurudev, but you may take offense as well. Correct? Naturally. So we should not place ourselves on the same level. We may be chanting, we may be doing so many limbs of bhakti, but one is judged according to their depth of bhakti, and they should be respected accordingly. So who has chanted the holy name of Krishna even once? They should be given respect within their mind. Manasadriyeta. Who has received Diksha mantra? That means they're within the process. They've accepted Guru into their life, and they're endeavoring toward perfection. Dikshashti chet pranatibhish chavajantamisha. They're following the path of bhajan. Then we should offer our pranam to them. Shushrushraya bhajanavigyam ananyamanya nindadi shunyam. That person who has completely surrendered their life and soul in the service of Guru, Gauranga, Radha and Krishna. Who is completely 100% dedicated. Who has no tendency to criticize others. Nindadi shunyam. Who is completely devoid of envy. This means Uttam Bhagavat. To that person, we should completely surrender ourselves at their lotus feet. So it is not that it is all one, there is gradation, and we should respect Vaishnavas accordingly. So Narada Muni is traveling, endeavoring to seek out who is the greatest devotee of the Lord. And so he's meeting with so many, and he's giving them glorification. Oh, you are the greatest. You are the most wonderful. And they say to him, how can I be the most wonderful? Like Lord Shiva is telling Narada Muni, I have done so many things, I've made so many problems for Krishna. Who is greater than me? Oh, you should go to Prahlad. Even I could not approach Narasimha Bhagavan when he was so angry, but Prahlad immediately ran to him. How can I be the greatest devotee? So Narada Muni is moving from one to the next, trying to establish the glories of the devotees of the Lord. So in this case, here Srila Gurudev is saying, we were reading about partiality. Interesting, I just mentioned Prahlad, because in the history of Prahlad, in Srimad Bhagavatam, it starts off with Yudhishthira Maharaj asking the question about the partiality of the Lord. And the answer came to him that the Lord is impartial. He doesn't select someone because of partiality. He only reacts specifically according to his intrinsic nature. He reciprocates according to the way he's approached. As one approaches me, I reciprocate accordingly. If a demon approaches him to kill him, then how does he reciprocate? He kills the demon. If the gopis approach him with complete, utter surrender, dedicating their lives, every particle of their being, their heart, body, mind, and soul, at his lotus feet, then what does he do to them? Napareham nirabhadya samyujam. He also dedicates every part of his being, mind, body, and soul to the best of his ability in the dust of their lotus feet. So there's no partiality. He's reacting according to this specific nature. He cannot help himself. Maybe he can, but in this case, he says that this is my nature. So he's not acting partially. But then Gurudev brings it to the devotee. If a devotee makes distinction in regard to whom he is merciful, then it seems that there is a fault of partiality in his devotion. That he gives more love to one person, less to another. He gives so much instruction to one and less to another. He tells deep things to one person and only very superficial things to another. In this behavior, there seems to be the fault of partiality. So we ended there the last time. So then Gurudev comes to this point. But there are three types of Vaishnava. Uttam, the topmost, Madhyam, intermediate, and Kanishta, which is neophyte. Uttam Vaishnavas have almost all of the good qualities of Bhagavan. Almost all of the good qualities. Only Krishna has those extra 4. Narayan has up to 60, but Krishna has 4 extra. Does anyone know what they are? Leela Madhuri, the sweetness of his pastimes. Venu Madhuri, the sweetness of his flute. Rup Madhuri, the sweetness of his form. And Guna Madhuri, the sweetness of his qualities. This is special only in Krishna. So attractive that he reverses the nature of everything. Even those who have their sthayi bhav in other forms of the Lord. How amazing is that? How attractive is Krishna that Lakshmi, the eternal consort of Narayan, is doing austerities in Belvan to join the Rasalila pastimes of Krishna in Vrindavan. How attractive is Krishna that Mahavishnu makes an arrangement by stealing the sons of the Brahmins for Krishna to come and see him, just so that I can have your darshan. How attractive is Krishna that calves are drinking milk from their mother's udders, But when they hear Krishna's flute, they forget to drink. Their mouths open, the milk is flowing, and they only drink the nectar of Krishna's flute through their ears. How attractive is Krishna that even though Jamuna, you see how she's flowing today, so full and flowing so fast, she stops her course and flows toward him and tries to offer her own heart in the form of lotus flowers to him. How attractive is Krishna that mountains, stones which are normally so hard, upon the presence of his feet and the sound of his flute, they begin to melt. Stones are hard by nature, but they melt, and his footprints, and the footprints of everyone else who's nearby, make themselves visible in that stone. Where's that Sheshai? You go to that place, Sheshai, there you see the footprints of camels and the footprints of elephants, the footprints of cows and flutes and sticks and cowherd boys and Krishna. Gurudev said before, so many more footprints were there, but people were coming and breaking them and taking them to their own personal temples. He said when he used to go, 50 years, 60 years before, he said there were thousands of these footprints melted into the stone. Krishna's nature is so attractive that he reverses the nature of everything else. He's so attractive. So here, the Vaishnavas, the Uttam Vaishnavas have almost all of the good qualities of Bhagavan. They don't experience the sufferings of ordinary people. So right now in the world, ordinary people who have no knowledge of Krishna, and those who have knowledge of Krishna but who are unfortunately in unfavorable association, their minds are absorbed in everything other than Krishna. Fear is arising due to misidentification with the body and everything in relation to the body. But the pure devotee, they do not exactly see the material world and the workings of this material world. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita says, rather they see their Ishtadev present in everything. So if you read from someone like Srila Bhaktivedanta Maharaj, again and again and again, he says, the environment is always favorable. We should see that everything is the working of the Lord. There is nothing to fear. Just before coming to class here, I was over in the office, and Parashanam does not speak English, and I don't speak Bangla or Hindi, but we were just talking shlokas back and forth. Maro Virak Kovi Jo Ichatohar Nitya Das Tuva Prati Adhikar. Bhaktivedanta is writing this bhajan, Manasa Devageku Jo Kichumor. Whether I live or die, this is up to you, my Lord. You can do whatever you like with me. You are always my eternal master, and I am always your servant. You can do as you like with me. In Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita there it says, Rake Krishna Mareke, Mare Krishna Rakeke. If Krishna wants to protect you, no one can kill you. Nothing can kill you. And if Krishna wants to kill you, nothing can save you. So the devotee has this understanding, complete surrender to Krishna. Right? Rakshishyaditi Vishvasho Goptritve Varanantata. He's my protector, he's my maintainer, but he may do whatever he likes with me. As Mahaprabhu says in the last verse of Shikshashtakam. You can do whatever you like with me, you can kick me, you can reject me, you can embrace me, you can embrace another in front of me, whatever you like, but this will not change the nature of my praying for you. And then we are given this beautiful bhajan by Srila Narottam Das Thakur, establishing our prayojan. Radha Krishna Pranamor Jugala Kishori Jivane Marane Gati Paranam. Jivane means in life, Marane means in death. There is no other valuable thing for me other than the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna in service to them. Radha Krishna Pranamor. They are my life. Yugala Kishori. In life or death, in any circumstance, any situation. So the Uttam Vaishnava, he's not affected by anything of this world. Rather, he sees that everything is going on perfectly by the will of the Lord, not even a blade of grass. Nowadays, we know about things smaller than a blade of grass. We know about electrons and quarks and all of these things. Not even an electron moves without the sanction of the Lord. Everything is happening by the will of the Lord, and everything is therefore perfectly situated as it is, as it should be. Everything has its reason. So the pure devotee is never afraid, because he understands that the Lord, the Supreme Lord, is working through everything, and therefore everything is as it should be. That's why it is said that the Uttam Vaishnava takes the position of a Madhyam Vaishnava in order to discriminate, so that we, conditioned souls, can be instructed by them. Because the Uttam Vaishnava doesn't see that we need help. Oh, this is perfect. They are serving Krishna. Everyone is serving Krishna's will. But for our benefit, to increase our service mood toward Krishna, that Uttam Vaishnava takes the role of Madhyam and acts as Guru in our life, awakens bhakti in our heart for the Lord. So here, Srila Gurudev is speaking about these three kinds of Vaishnavas. These topmost Vaishnava, the Uttam Vaishnava, does not experience the sufferings of ordinary people. They are Atmaram. What does Atmaram mean? Atmaram.
Rejoicing.
Self-satisfied. Means that they're already completely satisfied inside. And Aptakam. They're devoid of any mundane desire. They have no material desire. Even if some allurement comes before them, they are never disturbed and are always fixed in internal worship. Even the greatest and most powerful of sages, like Vishvamitra, he was so powerful, he got titles like Rajarshi, the king of all the rishis. He was seeking for that title. He actually wanted to receive that from Vasishtha, the king of all rishis. He was so powerful, and he was able to control so much, even hold the universe upon his head for a little bit of time. How powerful was he through his yogic practices? But simply by the sound of the ankle bells of Menaka, one of the dancing apsaras of the heavenly planets, his bhajan, his sadhan, his meditation, his austerity, everything was broken in a moment. But for the pure devotee, any allurement that will come, how can they be attracted to it? Because they have tasted the nectar of bhakti ras. There is no material thing that can attract them or distract them. They understand about the material world and the nature of the bodies and the pleasures of this material world. Even the pleasure of millions of... Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada said that mukti, liberation, cannot equal to even one namahas. Freedom from the suffering of this material world. Heavenly planets and even Brahmalok are considered to be within this material world. To go beyond that into Mukti Dham, even millions of times, the pleasure of the peace and the cessation from suffering that comes from that cannot equal even the result of one namabhas. And this is no exaggeration, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada said. So imagine if someone has actually tasted real bhakti ras. They have awakened their praying for Krishna. Millions of muktis cannot bewilder them. What to speak of some mundane material pleasure of this material world? Impossible. For whom the material world holds no charm whatsoever. That person is qualified to be Shri Guru. So here, those allurements will never disturb them, as they are always fixed in internal worship. Internal worship means they are fixed in their bhajan. They will not show kindness to anyone either. And even if someone dies, they may remain indifferent. They are transcendental to the body and fully self-realized. So where most of us would weep and cry due to material attachments, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Vidya Vinaya Sampane Brahmane Kavihashtini Shuni Chaiva Svapakecha Pandita Samadarshina. A real Pandit, or one who knows the truth, will see everything equally. Because they see the soul present in every body. They're not bewildered by the change of bodies. Dehinosmin yata dehe kumaram yovanam jara tatat dehantara praptir dhiras tatra namuhyati. That person who is really in knowledge and who is sober is not bewildered by the change of bodies. Krishna says just as one changes their clothes, right? We have dirty clothes, we go home, we take those off, we take a shower, we put on new clothes. No one's crying. Because we're the same. They don't see us as the body, so they don't weep over the transition between one body, means one set of external material clothes, and the next, because they know that the soul is eternal. It cannot be cut, dried, withered by the wind, killed, mutated, burned, or anything else. It will always exist. It has always existed. It is also existing now. They are not bewildered. They have equal vision. They see everything in terms of its true nature. So they're not bewildered at all. There was one katha I heard. There was one person, he was doing bhajan, sitting on the banks of the Ganga. And one person went to take bath in the Ganga. That person who went to take bath in the Ganga was attacked by an alligator or crocodile. And that person who was sitting on the bank was simply absorbed in chanting Harinam, taking shelter of Harinam. Somebody came by, saw that person there, and was like, what? They jumped in, they grabbed that person and pulled them out and rescued them. And then they went to that sadhu who was sitting there. What's your problem? Why didn't you help them? You were sitting there, you saw everything. He said, Bhagavan arranged for everything. Bhagavan arranged for you to come to take care of the situation, so why do I need to do anything? This is Shraddha. Shraddha Shabde Vishwas Gohe Sudrida Nishchoy Krishna Bhakti Koile Sarva Karma Krita Hoy. That just by engaging in Krishna Bhakti, automatically everything else is done. All my obligations, material obligations, are automatically taken care of. As Srila Gurudeva Maharaja would say, nothing to do, Baba, nothing to do. Nothing to do. After he received sannyas, they came to him and said, if you just sign these papers, all of your pension from being a teacher will go to your wife and family. He was like, what wife? What family? I am dead. Sannyas means you are dead to the world. He said, how can I sign that paper? If I sign that paper, it means I'm acknowledging that this is my wife and children. How can I sign that paper? I will not sign that paper. Done. Everything is taken care of, so he never signed the paper. But there was one person who was listening to him, hearing his classes, and they were completely amazed. What an amazing personality. And they heard him tell this katha. And that person was the son of an extremely wealthy steel manufacturer. Multi-millions, crores of dollars. He ended up marrying the daughter of Srila Gurudeva Maharaj from his previous ashram. And what he couldn't do ever in his life, because he was expending all of his energy simply in seva, and he would not worry about maintaining and all like that, only serving Krishna, even in his family life. Krishna manifested everything. He fulfilled all those obligations times 1,000,000. Nothing to do, Baba, nothing to do. They were completely set up and he didn't have to do anything, not lift a finger. Krishna promises in Bhagavad Gita, for one who surrenders exclusively unto me, I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. Like when Krishna took that 1 grain from Sudama, immediately Srila Gurudev explained that Krishna gave him equal wealth. Sudama was so poor and so skinny. But receiving that one thing from Sudama, Krishna gave him equal wealth to himself. Sudama's wife was also so skinny and so poor. When he saw her, he didn't recognize her. Because, again, she had flesh on her body. She looked very beautiful and young, and he was like, who is that? He didn't even recognize her. And he had so many palaces and so much wealth and so many thousands of servants, and he couldn't understand what's going on here. In one moment, Krishna can take care of everything 1,000,000 times better than we ever could ourselves. And there are many people sitting in the audience right here who have personally experienced this. And maybe we're not on that level, but even giving a little bit of dedication to Guru, with endeavor to serve Guru, we can see how he has managed everything. Amazing. And Krishna is proving it again and again. So, they are indifferent to everyone. Why? Evam pratasva prinama kitya. Always chanting the holy names of the Lord in deep love and affection. Jatanurago, Drita chitta uchay, Hasatyatoro titiroti gaya, Unmada bandita tilokavakya. Weeping, rolling on the ground, hair standing on end, completely oblivious to the opinions of anyone in this world. People sometimes will criticize. How is Shukadev Goswami? Radhe Radhe. How is Shukadev Goswami? Even his father, Vedavyas, called out, "Oh, my son, my son!" Indifferent. Only the trees echoed in response. People would laugh at him, criticize him, curse at him, make fun of him, but he was like a mad person. Unmada. Unmad means mad. Mad and praying for the Lord. Completely indifferent to what anyone would say to him, anyone would do to him. Like Maharaja Srila also. He gave a personal example. Although he's the Supreme Lord, he was manifesting himself as a sadhu. People were throwing things at him, throwing dirt at him, spitting on him, cursing at him, completely indifferent.
Putting stool in his begging bowl.
He was begging, they would put stool in his begging bowl, he wouldn't even notice any of these things. He was completely oblivious to any material thing around him. This is the nature of that person who is Uttam, above and beyond the workings of this material world, only seeing their Ishtadev everywhere. The Kanishta Vaishnava does not have sufficient knowledge of Tattva and is therefore unable to give mercy. Kanishta means neophyte or beginning Vaishnava. They require mercy. And the Madhyam, his function is to give mercy. Prema, Maitri, Kripa, Upeksha. Kripa means to give mercy to those who are junior to them. The Kanishta Vaishnava's nature is that they have faith in Guru and faith in the service of the deity form of the Lord, Thakur Seva, but they do not know how to honor Vaishnavas properly. This is the definition of Kanishta. And if we really, really search ourselves, do we have firm faith in Gurudev and firm faith in Thakur Seva? Kanishta is not such an easy thing either. It is not so cheap. One year, Srila Gurudev told all of us in New Braj, I think now all of you are coming into the platform of Madhyam Adhikari. The devotees were like, Haribo! And I just sat there going, it's not me he's talking about. And the following year, so many people came to him with so many complaints. This one was complaining about their husband running off with another woman. This one was complaining that she got pregnant out of wedlock and wanted to remove her unborn child. Another one was complaining about Gurudev afterward was like, oh my God. And he came out, he said, I think you are all like hogs, dogs, camels, and asses. And I was like, yes. He just said it, he said it straight. What is our connection with the material world? This defines where we are in our level of bhakti. To the depth we are connected here, to that amount we are not connected to Krishna or bhakti. So Kanishtas here cannot give mercy, but there is something we can give if we are Kanishta. If we are Kanishta, there's something we can give. Whomever you meet, wherever you go, tell about Krishna. It will be purifying. And also something we can do, we can take shelter of Harinam, we can take shelter of the process of bhakti as given by Guru and Vaishnavas. So Gurudev here says there are 4 symptoms of the Madhyama Vaishnava. Ishvaretat adhineshu, balisheshu, vishatsucha, prema maitri kripopeksha, yakkaroti samadhyama. This is in Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 2nd chapter, verse 46. So the Madhyam Vaishnava, middle class Vaishnava, he has prayed for Bhagavan. And towards the Vaishnavas, he has the 3 types of friendly relations. So he respects the Uttam by surrendering himself. He respects other Madhyams by offering pranam to them. And for Kanishta Vaishnavas, he gives mercy. And for those who are aparadhi, means against Krishna. For those who are against bhaktas, for those who are mayavadis or offenders, then they practice something called upeksha. Prema, maitri. Prema means love for Bhagavan. Maitri means friendship to devotees. Kripa means mercy to those who are less fortunate. And upeksha means neglect of those who are against Bhagavan and his devotees. So they avoid that. Like Mahaprabhu says, Mayavada bhasa shunale hoy sarvanash. If one even hears the conceptions of Mayavad, their inclination in bhakti will be destroyed. So we avoid that. This is called upeksha. Toward an Uttam Vaishnava, he has a service attitude. Like Rupa Goswami says in this 5th verse of Bhagavatamrita, Shushrushaya bhajana vigyam ananyamanya nindari shunyam hridamipsita sangalabhya. He completely surrenders himself at the lotus feet of that Uttam Vaishnava. With those who are on equal footing to him, he will establish friendship. This is very important. Srila Gurudev explained that if we don't feel love and affection in any society, then because we are, he said, I've heard somewhere that humans are social animals. If you're not feeling love and affection in one society, then naturally you will go to any other society where you feel love and affection. So they establish friendship. Friendship means love and affection. What kind of love and affection? Dadati, pratigannati, guhyamagyati, princhati, bhunte bhojayate chaiva, shadvidam priti lakshana. The 6 symptoms of loving affection between devotees are expressed from Madhyam Vaishnava to Madhyam Vaishnava. Means giving and receiving, revealing one's mind in confidence, also giving prasad. So many different explanations are being given, but this is a very general explanation I'm giving. Toward Kanishta Vaishnava, the Madhyam is merciful. He is completely indifferent to envious people. And to those who are ignorant but have little faith, in a general way, he is merciful. Notice that one should not preach the glories of the holy name to faithless persons. This is actually not aparad. To try to force it on them. You might share something, but if they're like this, then what can you do? Then they will just make aparad, offenses to the holy name. Offense to Krishna, offense to Thakurji, offense to Vaishnavas. So then in a secret way, like Gurudev told Sudevi, she said, my grandfather or somebody in her family was about to leave this world. And he said, by some way or other, even by tricky way, you should give them Krishna. So she went, she cooked for the whole family, put all kinds of maha, tulsi, ganga jal, everything else in the cooking, and then gave it to them. And then the first question that came from one of them, so, why do you worship a cow? And then she had to start speaking about, and she started, well, as you know, I am a Hare Krishna, and that was not supposed to be said in the family. The grandparents went, oh, and And everyone else perked up. Just like that, they all wanted to know, and they started asking questions. Then they said, we're having a special evening. We have get-togethers once a month. We have a Greek theme, an Asian theme. We want to have a Krishna theme. So she went there, they all, you know, like, so can you sing the mantra? Can you teach us the mantra? But by trick. Instead of forcing it on them, they became excited, they wanted to know, they wanted to chant. And still to this day, Sudevi's mother's sister goes by the name Kishori. She likes the name Kishori. And she writes Haribol when she writes to her sister or anyone. She writes Haribol and she signs her name Kishori. And then her brother was like, wait a second, she has a Krishna name, I want one too. His name was Tom. He said, I want a name. So we called him Shyam Sundar. And he put it on his business card, Shyam Sundar. Can you believe it? Just by trick. So we cannot necessarily force someone who doesn't want to have faith. But if they start becoming inclined, by trick somehow, you can give it. And then gradually, their hearts will become open and they will start accepting it. So in a Madhyam Adhikari, there are 4 types of partiality. Prema, Maitri, Kripa, and Upeksha. But in the Uttam Adhikari, there is no such partiality. He has the same look toward everyone. Because he sees only his Ishtadev present everywhere and in everything. He doesn't see the difference between a conditioned soul and a liberated soul. It's quite interesting, isn't it? The Uttam Adhikari doesn't see the difference between a conditioned soul and a liberated soul. He sees that everyone is liberated. According to Shastra, the soul, the eternal soul, who is bound in this material world, still has no association with material energy whatsoever. Asango yang purushaha. Asango, there is no association, only covered. Think of it like this. If you take a very valuable gem, a diamond, and you put it inside a box, you know those Russian boxes? One inside the next, inside the next, inside the next, inside the next. And then you bind it, and then you bury it deep under the earth, and then you put cement on top. Is the diamond still there? Is the gem still there? It is as it is. All of the external coverings are just external coverings. But what is there? It's still there. If in 1,000 years someone opens it, breaks the cement, digs down, finds the cases, and inside, what are you going to find? That diamond. So the Uttam Bhagavat sees only that everyone is perfectly serving Krishna. Everyone is liberated. They don't even have this dual vision or multi-vision. Therefore, he has no duty. But it is the duty of the Madhyam Vaishnava to have partiality. Therefore, who will give mercy by which bhakti will arise? If you go to the Uttam and say, please give me mercy, please, you don't need mercy. Everything is perfect. So who will give you mercy? That person who is invested with this potency to see according to gradation. Prema, Maitri, Kripa, Upeksha. That person who is in the role of Madhyam Bhagavat will give you mercy because this is his function. In Madhurya Kadambini by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, there he explains that Bhakti Devi, she is completely independent, but she places herself very trustingly in the hands of the very capable Madhyam Bhagavat, whose function it is to give mercy. When he sees or she sees your intense endeavor, your intense greed, your desire, and your prayerful, desperate mood that really I want bhakti and I will stop at nothing, even if it takes my whole life. The root qualification for bhakti is the intense, greedy desire to have it. Krishna bhakti rasabhamitamati kriyatam yadikito vilabhyate tatra lolyam apimulyam ekalam janmakoti shukritaya kalabhyate. Millions of lifetimes of doing good things in this world cannot give you the qualification for bhakti. The root qualification for bhakti is the intense, greedy desire to have it. Srila Prabhupada adds, and wherever you can get it, one must purchase it without delay. So intense greed is manifested by our intense endeavor. If you really want something, you are going to try for that thing. So in this case, the Madhyam Vaishnava, seeing your sincerity. I'll just add this at the end. Srila Gurudev Maharaj asked, why do we do sadhana? If on our own we don't have that strength, we cannot capture Bhagavan by our own power, then why do we do sadhana? He said, because Guru tells you to do it. And when he sees that you are sincerely endeavoring to follow the instructions he's given, then he will give you something. In installments. Awaken bhakti in your heart in installments. Oh, when you are sincere, okay, a little more. What will you do with that? A little more, a little more. And when they see that you have completely surrendered your heart, your life and soul and everything, then you are qualified to receive the full inheritance of that treasure house of bhakti. So this is the function of the Madhyam Bhagavat, to awaken bhakti, to give mercy and awaken bhakti in those who are desperately needing it. Those of us who are bound in the material conception. So now it's time for Arti. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Sri Sanatan Goswamipada ki jai, Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita ki jai, Gaura Bhaktivedanta ki jai, Sri Gaura Premanande Hari Hari. Kiva Jayo Jaya Gaura Chande Aratika Shobha Jayo Jayo Gaura Chande Aratika Shobha Janavi Tatovani Jagamana Lobha Govinda Jai Jai जय श्री गुरु गौरांग गिरिधारी राधा विनोद हरि राधा गोविनाचू की जय। नित्य लीला प्रविष्टो विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शतशीर्षमा श्री भक्तिवेदांत नारायण गोस्वामी महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जय। नित्य लीला प्रविष्टो विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शतशीर्षमा श्री भक्तिवेदांत वामन गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। नित्य लीला प्रविष्टो विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शतशीर्षमा श्री भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्य लीला प्रविष्ट विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शतशीर्षमा श्री भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। नित्य लीला प्रविष्ट विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शतशीर्षमा श्री भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर प्रभुपाद की जय। सब परिकर श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। महाभागवत श्री गोकिशोर बाबूजी महाराज की जय। सप्तम गोस्वामी सच्चिदानंद श्री भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ बाबूजी महाराज की जय। गौरी वेदांताचार्य विद्याभूषण की जय। श्री विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर की जय। श्री नरोत्तम श्री श्यामानंद प्रभु की जय। श्री कृष्ण कविराज गोस्वामी की जय, श्री गौरी रूपान गुरु वर्ग की जय, श्री रूप सनातन भक्त रघुनाथ, श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ सदगोस्वामी प्रभु की जय, श्री श्री कमलादय रमनंदारी श्री पार्षद वृंद की जय, नामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवाचार्य गौर भक्त वृंद की जय, श्री नवदीपमयपुर धाम की जय, श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपी गोवर्धन वर्षवनात्मक श्री ब्रज मंडल की जय, श्री श्याम कुंद राधा कुंद गंग जुमन भक्ति तुलसी देवी की जय, हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय, जय गौर Narayan Bhikshapura Eshai Goshai Garuda Bhaktapura Goswarimu Mura Panchaka Kalera Korona Devi Bhakta Sandeva Janame Janame Hore Dehi Abhila Eshai Goshai Gabe Sarve Kodava Radha Krishna Nityananda Parila Prakar Anande Bolo Hari Bhakta Vrindavan Guru Vaisnava Pade Manjalam Guru Vaisnava Pada Padma Purina Shama Sankirtana Purina Samara Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srila Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Guru Hari Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol Jai Shri Gururanga Bihari Bihari Radha Bihari Radha Gopinath Ki Jai Shri Gurudev Ki Jai Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai Bhagwan Gurupad Ki Jai Patipavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai Hari Purushottam Shachinandana Gaur Hari Ki Jai Hari Nama Sankirtan Ki Jai Hare Krishna Mahamantra Ki Jai Vrindavan Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai Shri Jamana Maharani Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Nitai Maharaj Ki Jai Gaura Bhakta Ki Jai Nitai Gaura Premanande
Yesterday, we studied the